Welcome to the Women's Football Show here on PLZ Soccer's YouTube channel. I'm Kerry Paul, joined here with Alison McConnell, and we're on the road this week, Alison. We're here at Easter Road, joined with Hibernian striker Jorian Baucom. Jorian, thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for having me.
How are you?
Doing well.
Yeah?
Yep.
First of all, tell us, how did you end up here at Edinburgh then?
Just good communication with Grant, Stewart, the rest of the staff, and they just had a vision set in mind for the future of Hibs football, and I really liked where their direction was heading with that, and I thought I would be a good fit for the program, and here we are.
Tell us about the season. How's it going so far, would you say?
I think it's going really well. I think we're able to show that we are a new team this season, like across the board, top to bottom. And now that we're starting to mesh more and play well, I think you're starting to see that translated into the games. And, you know, last night was unfortunate, but there's still a lot of improvement for us to do. And you're starting to see that each week.
Does that come from the management and the coaching staff, that belief and the drive within the team this season?
Yeah, of course. I mean, having the belief and confidence with the staff and having it, you know, translated onto the players, it's really important. We are a young team. And I think the more confidence that you instill in each player, they'll just bring that onto the pitch come game time. And again, like I said, you're starting to see that more and more. We've had the last 3-4 games were all wins for us, and we're continuing to climb the board, earn 3 points each week, and you know, hopefully we'll continue to do that.
What's been your impressions then of the Scottish football landscape? I know you've been in Prague, you've been in Portugal, you've been in the States obviously. What's your impressions of the game here?
It's a great league. It's a combination of both technical and physicality, and I think that is huge for my game as well, being able to incorporate different cultures and playing styles that I've, you know, been accustomed to in the past and playing in different countries. And with this league specifically, you're starting to see, you know, more recognition, more players. I knew about the league before coming in, and I did want to take this as a new challenge for myself and to further my career. And even post-career, you're starting to see players from this league go on to playing in England and other top teams in other countries, and it's really cool to see.
Was that one of the main reasons that you came to Scotland then to play in this league, because you're seeing the progression that the players have made?
Yeah, definitely, because I have talked to former players and they enjoyed their time here and they thought that I would do well coming in and playing here, and so far I have been seeing that and I have been enjoying my time here.
Is that one of the ambitions, you think, for most players coming through here, that, you know, the Women's Super League down south, it's a very attractive proposition for players, that almost it's not quite a stepping stone, but there's a vehicle to go and play at a higher level if you do well in Scotland?
Yeah, I completely agree with that. I mean, not necessarily you should be looking like just to come here and then go to a new league, but I do think, like you said, you can look at it as a form of a stepping stone or kind of a foundation to see where you do fall, like in your football career, as far as like tactically, mentally, physically, where you want to go to further your career. And I do think the league among the whole, like top to bottom, it is good football, and you really don't know what you're going to get against any team in this league. And you're kind of seeing that with the table currently, how it sits, and it's been exciting.
That's quite interesting, because obviously what we've seen over the last few years is that the top 3 teams really have a stranglehold on the league, that you have Glasgow City, Rangers and Celtic all vying to be top dog, and then you almost have a middle section and then a bottom section. How have you found that? And first of all, just you've played all 3 top sides this season. Who's your prediction for coming out on top this term?
Of the top 3, obviously they're all class teams, class programs, but I do think each of those 3 teams have different attributes that they bring to football and their playing style. And again, it's a close call. I mean, they're 3 to 6 points max on like dropping and lowering. Like one week you can be sitting in 3rd, and then the next week you drop to 6th. That's like how tight it is, and I think that's really a great thing to see, because you do want the competition levels to rise within these leagues instead of having just a solid top 3 powerhouse. Mm-hmm. And I think it's Rangers or Celtic that's sitting at 1st, and I think it just shows again like where we're going with Hibs. I mean, we did play Celtic earlier on in the season and it was a 4-2 loss, but I think just showing that we are able to compete against these top teams. Again, you just don't know what you're going to get come game time, because we are all so close in that competition range.
Yeah. Obviously, Hibs and Glasgow City traditionally were the really dominant forces in the women's game, and then there was a move towards a more professional setup with Celtic and Rangers, and obviously they have finances and resources that can outstrip other clubs. But do you think Hibs can still live with that kind of quality?
Yeah, I definitely do. Obviously, finance does come into the picture in order to continue to build your program. But here we do have a good setup, a good build. I mean, we're able to do this here at the men's stadium, and with new management and ideas coming in, we are trying to be one solid club and have a sense of unity among the men and women's teams. And I think that's huge. We do have, our own training center, which I think most, even speaking personally, I guess I would say you don't really get to see your own training center having the access to post match and post training food. And I do think it's growing. And now that you're starting to see that among women's football, it is important, because I think in the past we have lacked the resources that the men had. And obviously that was due to finance. But now that the women's game is growing, you're starting to see that more and more. It's inspiring, and I hope it continues to progress further as the years go on.
Would you say that's just in Scotland that you've seen that kind of lagging behind for the women's game, or obviously in America, Portugal, where you've been? How is it where they do it?
I think it just comes down to the club and the team you're at, and if they are able to have that type of money. I have been on teams where we do have access to a lot of things that the men have, and I have been on teams where we haven't had as much access. And coming from Portugal, we were at a club where we weren't financially stable, and so some of the things that we've had to go through or had to encounter, you would never see that with the men's team. And it is unfortunate, but they are starting to grow as well. They also are starting to invest more money. They started to get a new pitch during my leaving. And again, it just shows that the game is growing and people are buying into women's sports and women's football.
What were the kind of challenges that you had in Portugal? What were those financial considerations?
Just pitch conditions. The training center that we were at wasn't in the best condition as well. Kind of struggling to find transportation to games. Sometimes our bus would break down, and it does seem like little things at the time, but it is important to express on, because I don't think you would typically see that in the men's game, or at least at the top levels for men's programs. And for here, like I said, this is a really good professional environment, and it was a big choice in me coming here just to be able to see that and have, again, their vision, their game plan for the season, where they want to progress with building the women's game. And yeah, I think it's just awesome to see.
Where do you think we lag behind? What do you think Scottish women's football should be doing better?
I would say more recognition. I mean, you're starting to see games air on television more, and I think it's more so just broadcasting and getting our games out there more, because I feel like here specifically, you do see the men's games packed with fans, and we do play on different schedules, and then to come to Meadow Bank, and we do have a solid fan base, and there are continuous, consistent fans that come. But I think what encourages us more, to play with more grit, to play with more confidence, is having the fans back behind us. And again, attendance is hard in women's football. And unless it's something big like the Derby games, where you do have thousands of fans, it's exciting. It makes you more invested into the game. So I think just, getting our games out there more, talking about it more, televising it more, posting on any type of platform, just getting it out there that women's football is enjoyable.
It must have been pretty special then to score here in a derby.
Yeah, I still can't believe that night, because that was my first time playing here at Easter Road as well. And again, it was just so special, and being able to hear those fans back behind you, and just being able to even score a brace. I thought one goal was crazy to say, and obviously after the second goal, it was just wow, what a crazy atmosphere to be in. It was so cool.
Had you ever heard of Hibs before there was contact from the club, and in terms of signing? Had you ever heard of the club at all?
No, and I guess that kind of goes to my point earlier. I did know of the league, but it's anytime people mention the women's league here, it's always Rangers, Celtic, City. and, you know, they kind of leave off the middle of the pack or bottom of the pack teams. And then I came here and it's like the drop off really isn't that huge, and you are able to come in and compete and potentially result against those top 3 teams. And I think as the game is progressing here, you are starting to see more players like internationally wanting to come as well. And that was my big decision too, because I did speak with girls that have played here, like I was saying, and they enjoyed their time here, and they're like, yeah, it's a good challenge, the level of football is good, and that's how I ended up here.
Were you surprised at all by the level of rivalry within the city?
Oh yeah, the Hearts Hibs is crazy. Like, fans here are ruthless. I've actually never seen like fans as intense, but I love it.
Yeah, how does that compare to any other rival match that you've played in your career?
I mean, rivalries are like a big deal in women's football. And I personally think for me, it was more so like going to university and having college rivalries was like a huge thing, because then it's like every sport collectively like hates each other, whereas it's just like football here. But, you know, it's fun. Everyone lives to play in these derby games, and it just has more meaning and makes you want to fight more. Not necessarily that you don't do that in every game, but it's just like that extra inch that you want to like have over them. And yeah, I think being able to result in both home and away against Hearts was like a nice little, you know, touch to say.
That brings in a particular kind of attention, I think, when you play and score in a game of that magnitude. Have you found yourself recognised at all when you've been out and about?
A little bit. Yeah, again, just because we are in the heart of the city, and, you know, more and more fans are starting to come to the games and recognize us more. And again, how I was saying, to post and make the game more known, we were able to have deals like having the derby like flyer on the back of buses, posting on social media. So I did see myself on the back of the bus a couple times just walking down the street, and I was like, oh, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, I was quite strange. I've been watching it. Did you get a selfie?
I did. Actually.
Are your mum and dad and stuff, your family back home must have?
Oh my gosh, they are loving it, because I'm an only child, so my parents are like my best friends, and they're locked in, and the time difference is like an 8-hour difference, so they're waking up at like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning to watch my games. And they are going to come visit in the second half of the season, because they always have to come to at least one game in person, no matter where I am. So, you know, I play for them, and just having their support and knowing that like before games, after games, I'm always going to be able to talk to them about it, because they have never missed like a single game. So it's awesome.
Have they not been to Scotland yet?
No, they haven't. And I think they're delaying. Usually they're like here right away, no matter what country I go to. And again, based off of where we're from, they're like, you know, maybe we'll wait till like March to come see you, because this weather is
Arizona and Edinburgh might be slightly different.
Desert, snow. That doesn't mix well.
Just back onto Hearts then, you're tied in points in the table right now, of course. How much belief and confidence is there within the squad that you can overtake and then push potentially for the top 3?
I think there's a huge belief. You know, we come in each game working hard, and again, last night was unfortunate, but I think there are good bits to take from that. And as long as we, you know, continue, I guess I would say, continue to analyze these top teams, and, you know, we do film, and we come in with a game plan each week, and we really do need to lock in and execute and make sure we're doing these tactics to our best abilities. And again, all the points are so close. And I think that's why there is a huge sense of belief in the team. And we have been doing well the past few games and starting to get 3 points after 3 points. And we are looking to this week to end off the season, like the first half of the season, on a good note with an away game against Aberdeen. And I think if we're able to solidify those 3 points going into the start of the next half, it'll have us in a good spot.
Are you able to go home for Christmas?
I am. I'm so excited. This is like my favorite time of the year. So just being able to go home for a bit of time is always enjoyable, especially being so far away.
You would obviously have grown up in an era where the United States women's team were the real dominant force within the women's game. Who were your heroes from that time?
I definitely was a Brianna Scurry fan. She held it down in the net for us. And of course, Mia Hamm, Christine Lilly, just your true gritty like players that would sacrifice everything on that field. And yeah, with the team now, you're starting to see the game changed completely. They're starting to bring in younger talent, having visions for the future of where they want it to go. We just had a new coach come into play from a really good program, and hopefully that'll change things up for us and we'll continue to dominate.
Is that an ambition of yours to push for the international squads?
Yeah, I think that's any footballer's dream to at least even get one cap with the full team. I did play for the youth teams in the past, so I do know that's a very attainable goal for myself. And I think being here and having a great season and continuing to further and push my career, push myself, I'm always up for a challenge, and that's why I did come here. So, you never know.
That's it, exactly. It's
Yeah.
just when you say that the points are so tight in the team, they're like right now, does that make it almost a little bit more exciting for the outside viewer and for you to be involved in it as well?
Yeah, of course. I think that does show like we are enticing fans to come because like in the past how y'all were explaining that it was always just the top 3 teams and it's kind of like, do I want to go knowing that these top 3 teams are going to dominate the whole season? And now it's like, wow, like we can get behind our teams. You never know, like a bottom team can bump up to 3rd just like that because the points really are that close. And I do think it makes it that much more exciting each week.
Yeah, just finally before we finish then, what is the ambition for the season? What's the targets?
I would say to continue progressing in our cups right now. I think being able to make it to a final would be a really good achievement for the club here. And again, just staying in that top 6 and once the league splits, which is something I've never seen and thought it was kind of interesting. And if we are able to hold and maintain these top spots and again, being able to show the top 3 teams that we are able to compete because we'll be playing them multiple times come January moving on and whenever that split is, I think it's more so putting Hibs on the map and showing that it is possible to become a top 3 team in this league. And hopefully we can continue to do that and show it each game.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Absolutely. Best of luck for the end of the season. Thanks to Jorian for joining us. On behalf of Alison and myself, thanks for watching.